Daedalus. The Daedalus wasn't supposed to scream, but when it crossed into the nebula, it did. The hull howled like a wounded animal, a metallic roar that made Brad Pitt, playing Commander Daniel Ivers, drop to his knees, clutching his ears. Lights flickered blood red, the ship shuddered violently, and when it steadied, the corridors weren't the same. "Jesus Christ," muttered Hugh Jackman, the grizzled chief engineer Marcus Kane. He touched the wall and froze. It wasn't metal anymore, it was warm. Halle Berry, Dr. Alara Kovacs, whispered, "This ship, it's alive." And then the walls began to move. Bulkheads bulged outward, splitting like wounds. Fiber optic cables uncoiled into twitching nerves. Deck plates softened underfoot, sticky and slick. The Daedalus was no longer a vessel. It was molting, revealing its true self, a predator made of flesh and steel. "Run!" Ivers shouted. The first attack came fast. A section of the corridor ripped open like a splitting artery. A tendril lined with teeth lashed out, snaring a background crewman, yanking him into the wall. His screams were cut off by the wet crunch of bone. The walls pulsed and swallowed him whole. Blood sprayed across Hugh Jackman's face. He wiped it off and snarled, "We're trapped inside a stomach." The ship began to hunt. Every corridor shifted, looping into impossible spirals. Veins glowed across the ceiling like bioluminescent trails. Doors sealed into puckered holes that snapped shut like jaws. Kovacs slammed her fists against a console, trying to call for help. But the console dripped like cartilage, reshaping into a rib cage that breathed. She recoiled, whispering, "It's rewriting itself." Brad Pitt grabbed her arm. "We keep moving, don't stop. Don't touch anything." But the Daedalus wasn't letting them go. They sprinted down a hall that flexed and convulsed like an esophagus. The floor lurched under them, rolling with muscle contractions. A tendril erupted from the ceiling, coiling around another crewman's leg. Jackman roared, firing his plasma cutter, severing the limb, but the tendril dragged the screaming man into the wall anyway. The wall absorbed him, his face pressed against it from the inside, mouthing silent screams, eyes bulging as the membrane tightened. Halle Berry gagged. "It's wearing them." They reached the command deck, if it could still be called that. The view screens were gone, replaced by giant wet eyes that blinked and tracked them. Panels dripped slime, reshaping into cartilage. The captain's chair was no longer a chair at all, it was a pulsing mound of muscle. Brad Pitt staggered to the comms console. His hand slipped in mucus as he screamed into the mic. "This is Commander Ivers. The Daedalus isn't a ship, it's a creature. Don't follow our signal, don't—" The walls behind him bulged. Faces, half-digested crewmates, stared at them from inside the walls. Mouths silently opening and closing. The Daedalus shuddered. The whole deck began to close around them. Hugh Jackman bellowed, slamming a plasma charge into the fleshy wall. "Go, Ilara, run!" The blast blew a gaping hole, but instead of freedom, it opened into a cavernous chamber lined with ribs, twitching nerves, and a massive beating heart at the center. They hadn't escaped. They'd just found the creature's core. The last log was chaos. Brad Pitt's distorted voice screamed over static. "It's not a ship! It's alive! It's hungry! We're inside its body! We can't—" The feed cut to silence as the wall slammed shut. Outside, the Daedalus drifted silently through the nebula, its hull rippling with movement. The shape of a vessel, but beneath, veins glowed faintly. Breathing, waiting for the next crew to step inside.